Okay, so this is a video on my helmet setup, starting just from front to back. The helmet is a OpsCore Fast SF Super High Cut, and the device is the L3 PVS31A. And up front, these are actually just the bikini caps that come with the device, and I punched out a hole right in the middle. I took them off for it, of course, with a 5.56, 223, whatever shell casing, and that makes it so I typically don't have to adjust anything as far as my focus goes. If I want more light, I can, flip them up if it's particularly dark out, but typically when I have these caps on up front, I don't have to play with the focus at all. And you can kind of see I have just some rubber bands up front and in the back, so if I do flip them up, they aren't dangling up or down. I usually flip them up anyways, so they kind of sit above. There's enough room on the the top of the housing to where it doesn't hang over. You probably can't see that. Do it on the other side, but it doesn't really hang over the back. You can't see it here, and I'm not gonna take it off for the video, but there is a Wilcox shoe. It's the same size, roughly as the one that comes with the device, but it just mates up with their mounts a little bit better. This is the G24, and this is the current model. This would be the G22E, I think, if it was an older model. It's extended, so with the iPro I wear, it just makes it a little bit more comfortable, and I can stick them out a little bit further. On the back, you can see in the little loops that they have for these bungee retentions, pieces that come off your helmet, I put a little key ring on this side. It's probably tough to see, but if I put my finger behind it, you can probably see it. And I have the bungee retention bands, hooked into it, and that takes a lot of play out of them. And then I also went through and tightened up all the screws on this mount, even when it was brand new when I got it, just to it helped with any wiggle. I can't remember if it was soft Velcro with adhesive backing that I put on the back of the mount, or just a couple layers of tape, but that also took the play out of where the mount mounts into the shroud. This is the OpsCore shroud, but this is the Wilcox retractable lanyard. It's kind of like a custodian key thing, and that's just kind of what really holds it on there. I believe it's meant to go along with the Wilcox shroud, but if you just replace the screw on top of the OpsCore shroud, it should work just fine. It stays on there, fine for me. And it's got some tension on it. I don't know if this came off of the mount, if it would keep it from extending down, but if you're standing up, it'll keep it from hitting the ground. It doesn't come out that far. Moving back, I have I believe this is off Amazon. This is just kind of a Velcro backed bungee battery retainer, and that's where I keep the battery cable going to the pack on the back of my battery pack. And I don't keep a battery on board on this device. It's a trick that someone else taught me. A big rule of Nightvision is you don't want to leave the battery in your device. It could inadvertently get turned on if it's in a bag, or I don't know, if you're going through TSA and the person is fondling it and accidentally switches it on. You just don't want anything like that. And if you're using alkaline batteries, which you shouldn't, you should use lithium. They have the potential to leak. So I don't keep a battery on board on the device. I just keep them in my battery pack, which, this battery pack isn't cheap, but it's a lot less expensive than than the actual Nightvision device. And so if I can see that the battery cable is unplugged from the device, I know that there's no way power is going to go to it. Flipping it around, I have a S&S Precision mount with a Surefire Vampire head. Super common. A lot of people have it. Some people have another task light over here that has red light. You can do that too. Flipping them, I'm going to flip them this way so you can see what's going on underneath. My ear protection are the Ops Core amps. They're on the arms. I don't know if these gel cups come with the amps or not, but they're nice to have. You can kind of see that my boom mic is hanging on by a thread here, but you know, the nice thing about these is you can just order a new boom mic. It's not, you know, really hardwired to the actual headset. The suspension system I switched out immediately upon getting this helmet because it was pretty uncomfortable. I'd worn a similar suspension system to what came with the helmet before, and I knew that I didn't like it. It had this styrofoam lining, which, you know, I think it's a safety measure, and it had these thin pads, and so I took all of that out. I replaced it with the Team Wendy suspension system, which is much more comfortable. And then as far as the actual comfort and, you know, having to wear this for extended periods of time, the biggest game changer is are these 4D pads. I got them from TNVC. I believe they're made in conjunction with another company, and they're made of a type of memory foam, but it, you know, doesn't hold on to moisture for too long. So, you know, you don't want to, you know, ever put this stuff away with moisture or condensation on it. And so, you know, you don't have to let this thing dry out for too long once you take it off. And just overall, they're a lot more comfortable. In the research I did, you know, as far as the styrofoam lining that's on the inside that, you know, I think has to do with, you know, blunt force impacts or something along those lines. From the research I've done, if you replace that lining with these pads, it serves the same purpose. It can, it doesn't make the helmet any less safe. But do your own research. It's, you know, it's your brain you're protecting. So moving on from here. With the amps arms, it can be tempting to kind of store them back on the helmet up here, but people that have had theirs break, I've noticed, and, you know, from anecdotal experience have seen that they tend to store them on back up here, which I think somehow puts, you know, more tension on them. So, you know, if you need to do it for a minute, it's not a big deal. But when you store them, the best way to store them is actually, you know, flopped down like this. And you can even, you know, rest the helmet on them. Moving to the back, I have a strobe up here, and this is visible and IR. It's a bit redundant because the battery pack I have has a really good IR strobe on it. I, you know, looked at it through other devices and it works really well. And this is a S&S V-Lite. This is a purple one, and this is just nice to have on a range with other people, or, you know, even if you're by yourself, you know, if someone else is out there and it's nighttime, to be able to see if you're downrange or, you know, somewhere where they might be shooting, or, you know, it's just good to have as far as safety measures go. And holding it all together is a battery pack and counterweight pouch from Licentia Arms. And this is actually really nice because I can route my battery cables through here. You can see that I run it, you know, over the rails. There's some zip ties. There's slots for these that came on this rail system, and I've seen people Dremel the inside out. kind of little holes here so you can actually run the cable through the rail. And that's something I might do at some point. But it really just kind of helps tighten up cables if you're using helmet mounted ear pro and you have the cables, running around, running on the back. It's better than just having them loose, kind of being able to tuck them beneath. And it's velcroed onto the back, and then it uses a bungee cord to hook into the back bolt of the rail system there. So it's on there pretty secure. And if you don't have a battery pack and you want to use a normal counterweight, you can fit that in there. If you want to use a 20-round mag, which is something Licentia Arms actually suggested, a 20-round AR mag fits in perfectly right back here. So that about covers the whole helmet setup. And I think we're good. All right.